Have you ever felt like you're drowning? Not in water, but in your own mind? Like the world keeps moving, the lights stay on, people laugh, conversations flow, and you play along. You wear the face they expect, nod at the right moments, even smile on cue. But inside, it's a war zone. And the worst part? No one notices. No one hears the battles you fight when the world goes quiet. Welcome back, my Stoic friends. This isn't just another motivational talk. This isn't one of those glossy, polished, pretend you're happy messages. No. This is for those of you standing on the edge, holding yourself together with invisible thread, exhausted from fighting demons nobody else can see. If you're tired of the voice in your head telling you you're not enough, if you're sick of being a prisoner in your own skull, you're in the right place. There are days when you don't utter a single word, yet your silence is deafening, louder than a scream in an empty room. You move through life with a mask so convincing even you start to believe it. A face that says, "I'm fine," while your insides feel like a storm tearing at everything you are. You laugh when you have to. You nod when expected. You show up. You carry on, and inside, there's chaos clawing at your soul. And the truth? It's not just a bad mood. It's not just overthinking. Your mind has become a battlefield, dragging you through hell on a leash you never asked to wear. It throws old memories at you like knives in the dark, turns shame into the soundtrack of your life. Every missed opportunity, every betrayal, every time you fell short plays on repeat like a sick film you can't turn off. And slowly, without realizing, you started believing it. That cruel voice whispering you're stuck, that you'll never get out, that this is your story now. You wake up tired, not from lack of sleep, but from the fight that never stops. You sit in silence, but your thoughts scream so loud it drowns out the world around you. They whisper lies. You're too late. You've messed up too many times. Your best days are behind you. And the more you wrestle those thoughts, the tighter their grip becomes. It isn't just anxiety. It isn't simple overthinking. It's mental warfare. And the world, it doesn't see it. It sees your mask, the carefully rehearsed smile, the illusion of managing. It doesn't see you at 3 a.m., lying in bed, staring at a ceiling you've memorized, while your mind spins like a hurricane. It doesn't hear the inner voice that won't shut up. That relentless critic reminding you of every failure, every mistake, convincing you you're a burden, a ghost living your own life. You've smiled through breakdowns. You've nodded through moments when you felt like collapsing. You've stitched yourself together with invisible thread and stepped out into a world that expects you to keep going. But here's the truth. This video isn't for the people still pretending. This isn't for those playing dress up with their pain. This is for the ones who've had enough, who've stood at the edge and stared into the abyss of their own mind, who are tired of the invisible chains they wear like armor, dragging themselves through days that feel endless. This is for the ones who scream in silence and ache in peace. The ones who, when asked how they're doing, lie because it's easier than trying to explain the war inside their head. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor himself, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But how do you find that power when your mind feels like an ambush? When every memory, every fear, every worry is a rope tightening around your throat? When you feel like you're being strangled from the inside? Here's what you don't do. You don't run. You don't hide. You don't numb yourself with meaningless distractions, shallow affirmations, or pretending everything's okay. That's not stoicism. That's not strength. That's not how we fight. You step into the storm. You walk through it. Because that's what stoicism demands. It isn't about toxic positivity or sugar-coated lies. It's not about chanting empty mantras in front of a mirror. It's war, calm, calculated, cold, and real. It's standing in the battlefield of your mind, shoulders squared, eyes clear, and saying, I will not be ruled by ghosts. I will not be dragged down by lies. I will not choke on my own fears. Stoicism doesn't deny pain. It doesn't tell you to hide from it. It sharpens you with it. It forces you to face the fire, walk through the flames, and come out the other side forged like steel. So let's be clear. This isn't just another video. This isn't content to pass the time while you scroll through an endless feed of empty inspiration. This is war medicine. This is mental armor. This is a battle cry for every soul tired of being a prisoner inside their own skull. And if you're still here, if you've made it this far without looking away, then you already know this message was meant for you. Because deep down you feel it, don't you? That quiet, stubborn spark refusing to die, even in your darkest moments. That little voice whispering, not yet, I'm not done. You don't have to be fearless to fight. You just have to decide that you're done being ruled by fear. We've already made one thing clear. You don't run from the storm. You don't hide behind shallow affirmations or wait for peace to come knocking on your door. You hunt it down. You tear through the chaos with your eyes wide open. Because only in the storm can you forge a mind unbreakable enough to master itself. And listen closely, because before this is over, that voice inside your head, the one that's been lying to you, chaining you, haunting you, it's going to get exposed. You'll finally see it for what it really is, not truth, but noise, not wisdom, but fear. Wearing your voice like a mask. So don't blink. Don't skip ahead. Don't glance away. Stay here, right here, with me. Because sometimes it only takes one message, one voice, to pull someone back from the edge. And if this isn't for you, it might just be for someone you love. So hit that like button. Drop a comment below so the world knows you've had enough. Enough of the chains, enough of the lies. Type it out right now. I will no longer be a prisoner of my own mind. Because today, we break the chains. We burn the lies. We strip you down to the bones and rebuild you. Not as a victim, not as a survivor, but as a force. Not someone waiting for life to get easier, but someone so sharp, so grounded, so solid, that nothing shakes you. Ready? Let's get to it. Number 1. Your mind is not a mirror. It's a weapon. Somewhere along this brutal, winding road of life, someone handed you a soft little lie. They told you your mind is just a mirror. That it reflects the world around you, echoes your environment, mirrors your emotions, and simply reacts to your circumstances. Like some fragile piece of glass that has no choice but to reflect what it sees. But that is a dangerous illusion. Because your mind doesn't just passively reflect the world. It shapes it. It bends it. It takes every scar from your past, every heartbreak, every failure, every bit of chaos from your childhood, and colors everything you see through a lens it built when you weren't even watching. And through that twisted, warped lens, you start mistaking illusion for reality. You start thinking you're weak, that you're broken, that you're stuck, that you'll never crawl out of this mental prison. But none of it's real. It's not the truth. It's a trap. And worse, it's a trap you unknowingly helped set. You tell yourself the enemy's out there, that it's the world holding you back, that circumstances are to blame. But wake up, my friend. The most vicious battles aren't fought out in the streets. They happen behind your eyes, inside your own head. And if you're not armed for that war, you're already losing. How many times have you built entire catastrophes in your mind that never actually happened? How many times have you broken yourself down before the world ever got a chance to? How many dreams have you quietly buried? Not because someone stopped you, but because a single quiet thought at 3 a.m. whispered, "You're not ready." That voice doesn't scream, it slithers. It waits until you're vulnerable, until your guard is down, and then it seeps into your chest like smoke. It crawls into your gut and feeds on your self-doubt like it owns the place. And the most brutal part, you believed it. You didn't just listen. You handed it the blade and told it where to cut. This isn't simple self-doubt. This isn't harmless overthinking. This is mental treason. Because those thoughts you keep telling yourself, those endless negative loops you replay in your head, aren't neutral. They're loaded weapons. Every one of those thoughts is a bullet chambered in your own gun. And the longer you let them run wild, the more you bleed without ever seeing the wounds. You walk through life performing, smiling, pretending like everything's fine. But inside, those unspoken thoughts are ripping holes in your identity, your confidence, your future. They are tearing you apart in places no one else can see. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor who knew the true war was within, said it best. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. So stop for a second and ask yourself, what are you staining your soul with? Is it fear? Regret? Bitterness? Jealousy? Are you letting your thoughts paint your life in shades of despair and defeat? Look around you. The life you're living right now isn't shaped by the outside world. It's painted by the colors you allowed inside your head. If you want to change the world you move through, you have to change the way your mind colors it. You have to stop being a passive mirror and start forging that mind of yours in fire. No more mirrors. No more quiet, fragile reflection. No more waiting for life to get better. It's time to turn that soft, conditioned mind into sharp, surgical steel. Because no one's coming to save you. And no one should have to. The power's always been yours. We've already seen the truth about your mind. It's not a mirror, it's a weapon. And like any weapon, it can either protect you or destroy you. It's not meant to be soft, not built for safety, and certainly not designed for cheap, surface-level, positive vibes-only moments. No, what a Stoic trains for is something far greater. Weaponized clarity, surgical precision, cold, calm dominance. This path isn't about comfort, it's about control. Not over the outside world, but over yourself, over the wild, unruly storms inside your own head. Because when your mind starts whispering those old lies, you're falling behind. You don't cower. You don't nod in agreement. You punch back, calm and sharp as steel, with, "I'm preparing." And when it sneaks up again, spitting venom like, "You're not enough," you don't crumble. You don't explain. You answer with something unshakable. "I haven't even started." You see, you don't waste your breath arguing with lies. You overwrite them. Not with delusion, not with feel-good fantasies, but with relentless purpose, disciplined repetition, and cold, precise force. The kind of force that tears weakness out of your voice, That rebuilds your words with fire in your gut and steel in your spine. The kind of force that doesn't politely ask your mind for cooperation, but grabs it by the throat and drags it into discipline. Because whether you like it or not, this world won't wait for you to feel ready. It doesn't care if you're stuck. It will keep spinning. Life will keep punching. The hits don't stop coming just because you hesitate. And if your mind stays soft, passive, and trapped in the habit of reflecting pain instead of slicing through it, you'll drown in your own thoughts long before the world lands a blow. But and this is the real work, if you train it day after day, hour after hour, moment by moment, you'll stop reacting to life. You'll start commanding it. You'll stop begging your thoughts to be kind and start making them kneel too. Your vision, that's not a fairy tale. That's warfare. And you, right now, whether you realize it or not, you're the weaponsmith. You hold the hammer. You decide what your mind becomes. So if you feel this in your chest, if those words cut deeper than you expected, drop it in the comments right now. My mind is my weapon. I will train it, not fear it. But don't just type it, bleed it, live it. Because once your mind obeys, once it stops running the same tired loops and starts moving, at your command, the world follows. The battlefield shifts, and you become a force no one saw coming. Now, number 2, emotional pain isn't proof you're broken. It's a message, that ache in your chest, that pit in your stomach that turns to acid every time you think of her, of him, of that one moment you'd give anything to rewind. That isn't weakness. It isn't a defect. It's not evidence that you're fragile or failing. That's the sound of your soul slamming its fists against the walls you've built to keep the truth out. That ache, that unbearable tension in your gut. It didn't show up to ruin you. It came to wake you up. But what do we do when it comes? We treat it like poison. We reach for the nearest distraction. We slap on a fake smile. We drown it in endless scrolling, lose it in meaningless conversations, numb it under shallow hookups, temporary highs, or the soft glow of another pointless screen. But here's the truth. No matter how deep you bury it, it knows exactly where you sleep. It knows your name. And the second your guard drops, it crawls out from the shadows. You think you're being punished. You tell yourself that heartbreak is karma, that you deserve this heaviness. But no, that pain, that agony you keep trying to smother, it's a blueprint. It's your heart handing you a map out of the maze, because pain is the most brutal, honest, merciless teacher you'll ever meet. And if you listen carefully, it will show you exactly where the rot is. But what do most people do? They don't listen. They lie. They say, I'm fine. They tell their friends they're over it. They tell themselves they've moved on. But if you watch closely, you'll see it. Their hands still shake when her name appears. Their voice still cracks when they talk about the dream they abandoned. Their silence, it screams louder than any words ever could. Marcus Aurelius didn't write about pain while reclining in a robe, sipping wine under the stars. He wrote from the trenches, from the battlefield, from the front lines of his own mind. He told us, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke. Read that again. You hold the blade. You get to decide if the pain cuts you down or carves you into something sharper. But most people, they don't fight back. They don't claim their power. They let the pain define them. They become the echo of what hurt them. They marry the heartbreak. They adopt the rejection like it's a name tag. And over time, they stop being themselves. They start living as the scar. But you don't have to stay there. In the last part, we made it clear. Pain isn't proof you're broken. It's a message, a brutal, honest signal from your soul that something inside you has to change. And if you've got even a flicker of fire left in you, even a single stubborn ember refusing to die, then you don't let pain write your story. You stare it down. You tear the message from its throat and demand to know, what are you trying to tell me? What truth have I ignored for too long? What identity have I outgrown but kept clinging to like a tattered old coat? Because buried inside that suffering is a code, a truth custom made for you, a lesson wrapped in agony. And here's something you need to hear. There's a version of you that's already dead. The person you're grieving isn't coming back. And the reason it still hurts, the reason you wake up feeling like your chest is full of broken glass, is because you're trying to drag that corpse around. You're carrying a version of yourself that no longer fits, no longer belongs. Let it burn. Feel every raw, agonizing inch of that pain. Let it scorch your bones. Set your lungs on fire, drop you to your knees, but don't stay down. Crawl if you have to. Clench your fists. Stare at the ceiling with bloodshot eyes, shaking hands, and a heart cracked wide open. And when the time comes, look that pain in the face and say, thank you for the lesson. Now get the hell out of my way, because you are not your damage. You are not the one who got left behind. You are not the failure, not the almost, not the forgotten. You are the fire that survived all of it. And that makes you lethal. It makes you unbreakable. Drop this in the comments if you've ever clawed your way out of emotional hell. My pain didn't break me, it built me, and if your heart still hurts, good. That means it still works. It means there's still fight left in you. It means you're not done yet. Number 3. Kill the inner narrator that keeps you small, because there's a voice, isn't there? One that never sleeps. It's waiting for you the moment your eyes open. It doesn't yell, but it cuts like a knife. It waits, patient and coiled, for moments of hope, then poisons them with doubt. It doesn't speak in full sentences. It drips, drip, guilt, drip, shame, drip, weakness. And it never needs to scream, because it's clever enough to wait. It's been watching you for years, quietly feeding, growing stronger every time you second-guessed yourself, every time you backed down from a moment of greatness, every time you swallowed your words when your soul was ready to roar. It was there, feeding on your hesitation, grinning when you played small, winning when you shrank from your own power. And the hardest truth? You weren't born with that voice. You built it. You assembled it from scraps of cold words, from sharp stares, from bitter laughter that cut you down. From nights lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, asking, why does it always go wrong for me? You didn't choose that voice, but you fed it. With fear, with silence, with repetition. And now it walks through your mind like it owns the place. That voice, that constant drip of sarcasm and doubt, it's a liar dressed in your tone. It uses your voice, but it is not your truth. It's a thief, a con artist. It doesn't want progress. It wants power. And every single time you hesitate, it grows sharper. Every time you talk yourself out of a risk you should have taken, every time you make yourself small to stay safe, it rubs its hands together and settles deeper into your skull. You want to know where the real war is? It's not out there. It's not between you and the world. It's between you and that inner leech, that inner saboteur. That voice you unknowingly built, scripting your own downfall in your own handwriting. It's the one that convinces you you're lazy, that you're broken, that you're behind. But hear me clearly. That's not you. That's not the real You. That's a fake version of you sculpted by moments you were never meant to carry. Moments that happened, yes, but don't deserve to define the rest of your life. And today, you start breaking it. We just uncovered the real war. Not between you and the world, but between you and that inner saboteur. That bitter, coiled voice you built in the dark. And now, it's time to face it head on. Burn that version of yourself. The one built from fear, from hesitation, from lies you were never meant to carry. Rip it apart. Drag it into the daylight, expose it for the fraud it is, and choke it with facts. Because here's a truth no one tells you. Marcus Aurelius didn't conquer armies, lead empires, and command legions by believing the first anxious, cowardly thought that popped into his head. He fought it, every day, in ink, in silence, in reflection. He wrote in his journals over and over, not because he was weak, but because he understood exactly how vicious, how relentless, how traitorous the mind can be when left unchecked. He knew the mind is a battlefield, and if you leave it unguarded, if you let those unfiltered thoughts run wild, they'll turn on you like thieves in the night. The soul takes on the color of its thoughts, Marcus wrote. So tell me, what color is yours? Is it faded gray? Is it lifeless beige, a dull, forgotten canvas? Or are you finally ready to paint it in blood-red courage and steel-black discipline? Because here's the truth. You don't negotiate with that voice. You don't reason with it. You don't sit it down for a heart-to-heart. You replace it. You rewire the narration. When it hisses, "You're not ready," you don't explain yourself. You answer, "No one starts ready." When it warns, "You'll fail," you grin through gritted teeth and reply, "Then I'll bleed forward." And when it dares whisper, "They're better than you," you lift your chin, square your shoulders, and growl, "Good, let them. Watch me catch up." Because this isn't about fake affirmations. It isn't about standing in front of a mirror chanting, "I am enough," while your life stays exactly the same. This is about rewriting the damn story. It's about killing that passive, timid tone in your head and replacing it with a voice forged in fire, sharpened by discipline, and drenched in absolute command. It's about becoming your own commander, not your own critic. And every single time that voice shows up, and it will, treat it like a trespasser. Slam the mental door in its face. Get aggressive. Get surgical. Use your actions as weapons. Every disciplined step you take is a slap across its lying mouth. Every hard-earned rep, every early morning, every uncomfortable decision is a bullet. Fired straight through its false narrative. Speak to yourself like a soldier. Gritty, raw, purposeful. You're not here to babysit insecurities. You're here to build an unshakable core. Kill that voice. Drown it in effort. Strangle it with structure. Burn it with truth. Bury it under sweat, solitude, books, reps, hunger, cold, and heat. Break it the way a lightning storm splits the sky. Without apology, because that voice isn't just a weakness. It's a cage. And no one escapes a cage by being polite. You don't tiptoe your way to freedom. You shatter the walls. You become undeniable. And the beautiful part? You don't need a reason. You don't need anyone's permission. You need movement. Action is your sword. Discipline is your shield. You are not a victim of your thoughts. You are the sculptor. You are the fire. You are the force. Now take the damn pen back and write your own ending. Silence that narrator for good. Number 4, stop asking for peace in a battlefield you refuse to leave. You say you want peace. You whisper it to yourself late at night. You post about it. You pray for it. But then you curl up in the middle of the same war zone that's been tearing you apart. You crawl into bed with chaos like it's your old, familiar lover. You let drama leak into your bloodstream like a drug you promised you'd quit. You scroll through envy and insecurity like it's oxygen. You drink from the well of digital poison, sip after sip, and then you look up at the sky and wonder, why does my mind feel like a cage? Isn't it obvious? You keep sleeping inside the war you claim you want to escape. We just talked about how you keep asking for peace in a battlefield you refuse to leave. And now it's time to be brutally honest about what that really looks like. You say you're tired. You say you've had enough. But night after night, you show up to the same circus, holding a front row ticket with your name on it, arms wide open like an old habit you can't let go of. You don't want peace. Not really. You want comfort. You want familiarity. Even if that comfort comes in the form of hell, you'd rather stay where it's familiar than step into the unknown. And here's a truth no one likes to admit. Hell has no exits for those still decorating the walls. There's no such thing as calm in an environment you refuse to leave. Peace doesn't bloom in madness. It gets slaughtered there over and over, every time you pretend you can find serenity while still clutching onto chaos. You light candles for serenity while leaving every door and window open for the demons that haunt you. You post quotes about healing while keeping yourself chained to the very habits and people breaking you. And the most dangerous part? You start mistaking these rituals for progress. But don't get it twisted. Rituals aren't resurrection. You can meditate every morning, breathe deeply, journal your affirmations. But if by noon you're still texting ghosts from your past, still replaying conversations with people who don't deserve a second of your energy, you're not healing. You're hiding. You're not finding peace. You're faking it. Marcus Aurelius told us to retreat into our own soul. But what have you built inside yours? A sanctuary or a nightclub of distraction and noise? Every night you crank the music louder, not to celebrate life, but to drown out the sound of your own heartbeat, because you're too afraid of what you might hear in the silence. And here's the question you've been avoiding. Who are you trying to save by destroying yourself? Who are you still clinging to, hoping their presence will one day feel like peace, even though every conversation, every memory of them feels like a slow, suffocating death? It's time to face it. Some people don't come with hugs. They come with knives. Some places aren't built to shelter you. They're designed to shrink you. Some habits wear the disguise of harmless hobbies, but are executioners dressed in casual clothes. And every time you choose to stay in those mental war zones, every time you pick chaos over clarity, you surrender your crown. You trade your peace for noise, your mind for madness, your soul for shallow, fleeting validation. You want to change your life? Then leave the room that's setting you on fire, even if everyone you love is still sitting inside it. You want to stop overthinking? Starve it. Cut off its oxygen supply. Silence the noise that keeps feeding it. Unfollow every face that makes you feel like you're running behind in a race you didn't even agree to enter. Block the people who drained your light, then laughed when you dimmed. Walk away from conversations that replay in your head like old torture songs you never wanted to hear in the first place. This isn't cruelty. It's clarity. This isn't coldness. It's waking up. This is war. And in war, mercy to the enemy is cruelty to yourself. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough to protect your peace. When they call you selfish for choosing your sanity, for walking away from chaos, you smile. Because you know what they don't. Sanity is sacred. And no one gets to rent space in your head unless they bring peace with them. Let them misunderstand you. Let them gossip. Let them blame. twist your name, distort your choices. You're not living for their applause anymore. That stage has been burned to ash. You're not soft for walking away. You're not broken for protecting your space. You are a fortress now, and peace is your moat. You no longer beg to be heard, in rooms drowning in noise. You no longer bleed just to keep others warm. Let them freeze. You're done handing out fire to people who only ever used it to burn you. And when you finally, truly, leave those emotional war zones behind, you'll taste something most people never do. Silence, but not the empty kind. The holy kind. Solitude that doesn't feel lonely but sacred. Stillness that isn't boring, but alive. You'll sit alone with yourself and, for the first time, feel like you're home. You'll realize peace was never something the world was meant to hand you like a trophy. It was a kingdom you were meant to reclaim. And it's been waiting for you all along. We've just made it clear. You can't expect peace while clinging to war zones. And now it's time to confront another silent killer that's been poisoning your clarity. Comparison. You scroll through their Instagram perfect moments, their polished victories, their highlight reels edited to look like flawless, effortless success. And before you realize it, your mind starts whispering, "Look at them," and "Look at you." You start believing you've missed the boat, that somehow, some way, you messed up along the line. And in that very moment, you stop running your own race. You get caught in a trap so subtle, so quiet, it wraps around you like smoke. The trap of comparison. You start asking yourself, what's wrong with me? That quiet ache settles in, like a heavy chain pulling you deeper into silence, heavier with each thought. You feel like the clock is ticking, like the world is racing ahead, leaving you stuck, forgotten, lost in the dust. But here's the truth you need to hear, the one no one else is bold enough to say out loud. You're not behind. You're in the furnace, the heat you feel, the pressure, the struggle, the pain. That's not defeat. That's forging. That's transformation in motion. The Stoics, better than anyone, understood this. Marcus Aurelius didn't waste his days sitting around watching others succeed, comparing his path to theirs. He was too busy becoming, too focused on sharpening his soul in the fires of discipline and adversity. He didn't spend his time wondering what it took to be a good man. He simply became one. Don't waste time thinking about what a good man should be, he said. Be one. And what does that mean for you? It means you stop obsessing over someone else's timeline. You stop staring at other people's wins like they somehow shrink yours. You stop letting their pace dictate your peace. Because you're not behind. You're in the fire. And fire doesn't break steel. It forges it. That pressure you feel? That weight pressing down on your chest? It isn't life trying to crush you. It's life trying to shape you. Every moment of frustration, every setback, every time you think you can't take another hit. It's not the end. It's the process. It's life pushing you to become. The heartbreak you suffered, the rejection you took personally, that wasn't punishment, that was redirection. It's life cutting away the people, the paths, the weak versions of you that can't come with you into your next chapter. It's molding you, sharpening you, reforging you into something indestructible. And while the world obsesses over instant results, chasing after the illusion of overnight success, you're building something far greater, something the world can't see yet. But one day, they won't be able to ignore. You're building strength no storm can tear down. The kind of resilience that stays standing when everything else around it crumbles. And that's power. You don't need applause. You don't need the world to clap for you before you move forward. Stop waiting for permission. Stop looking for validation. You're not a fleeting trend. You're not a passing name in someone else's story. You're a force. And the world doesn't applaud forces before they explode. They only understand them when it's too late. Real transformation? It happens in silence. It happens when no one's watching. It's done at 3 a.m. when you're wide awake, wrestling your demons in the dark. It's done when you're sweating in the shadows, pushing yourself when the world has long gone to sleep. It's done in those lonely hours where the only voice left is your own, and it's begging you to quit. And you refuse. That's where the real you is forged. That's the moment you find out what you're really made of. And the best part? No one will see it coming. They won't hear it. They won't know what's building inside you. And when you rise, unscarred, unshaken, unstoppable, they'll have no idea what hit them. Because you weren't waiting for a green light from the world, while they were chasing the next viral moment, the next temporary high. You were becoming something permanent. They're not ready for your storm. They won't understand it until it's too late. But when you finally come out of that fire, stronger than they ever imagined, they'll have no choice but to witness the power you built in silence. Your story's not finished. Your chapter isn't closed. This is where it gets real. This is the part where everything shifts. So stop listening to that voice telling you you're behind. That's the lie. You're not behind. You're in the forge. And when that fire is done with you, when the heat has shaped you, hardened you, refined you, you won't rise as a shadow of someone else's success. You'll rise as the force no one saw coming, the one no one was prepared for. So keep pushing, keep sharpening, keep becoming. The world has no idea what's about to happen, and no, you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have all the answers, because perfection is the enemy of progress. And this, right here, right now, is the moment it all shifts. No more letting the mistakes of your past chain you down. No more letting self-doubt drown your clarity. It's time to silence every voice that's ever held you back. It's time to kill the negativity poisoning your soul. Today, you step into the power of your mind. You train it like a soldier. Prepares for battle. Focused, disciplined, unshakable. You become a Stoic, anchored in the present, immune to the storms of fear and doubt, and you walk forward, not just existing, but living, with purpose, with conviction, with fire in your chest and iron in your veins. If you felt this, if this cut through the noise and landed in your gut, don't let it fade. Don't keep it to yourself. Hit that like button. Drop a comment below. Let the world know you've made the choice. You're done playing small. Done being a prisoner to your mind. Share this with someone who's still trapped in their own head, someone lost in their fears, and hit that subscribe button. Because this isn't just a video. This is a call to arms. This is a movement. Drop this in the comments. I burned my old thoughts to the ground. Now my peace rises from the ashes, and feel that power. That's you, reclaiming your future.